Hello, everybody. For this lesson, we are going to talk about reasons why your child is defiant. I don't know about you, but as I've been parenting my defiant kids, especially my one that's particularly defiant and emotionally dysregulated, almost just so challenging that it's hard to describe, which you guys totally understand. I have wanted to flip the lid on her brain, like looking at a truck engine and see maybe where some wires are crossed and see if I can uncross them and just get her to be more compliant and easier going and less rigid and just less pushback and boundary testing. Unfortunately, even with all of the research and all of the study that we have right now, we can't flip the lid on their brain and just rewire things to make it so that things are more peaceful. And also, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of really solid answers on why a person is the way that they are. If we had answers to that, we would find out why anxious people are anxious and rewire their brains, why angry people are angry and we rewire theirs, why we struggle with foods and rewire that. Just all of the challenges that we have because of the way that our mind is and our personality, we would just fix all the things and everything would be better. So your child is no different. They're a complex being, and there's multiple variables that affect their defiance. So we wanted to walk through 5 that studies have shown to be pretty consistent. So number 1 is neurology. Sometimes a child's brain can be wired differently than their peers, and their behavior could be driven by disorders like ADHD, OCD, autism, sensory processing disorder, oppositional defiance disorder. So even anxiety and depression can actually create defiance in a child. Something feels off in their brain, their wiring, their chemistry, and it comes out in their behavior. So if you're seeing this and you're seeing that it's disruptive or your child is disruptive and defiant in lots of different situations, lots of different environments with lots of different adults, and it happens year after year after year, chances are you may be dealing with some sort of diagnosis, and it would be good to start with seeing your primary care physician and then a mental health provider that specializes in diagnosing kids with different disorders like these that we mentioned here. In my case, my daughter did have multiple diagnoses on top of other factors, and being able to recognize those and help treat those has helped her be less defiant. Now, I wish that there was like a magic pill that we gave and it just made everything easy, but that's not the case. Now, for some of you, the neurology is totally normal and that is not a factor. For some of you, it is. So trust your parent gut on that and do some exploring. Second is personality. So personality has been a topic of interest for researchers. They've been curious where personality comes from, how it develops, and how long it stays around. And what they have found is that personality can even manifest itself in the womb. And there are personality traits that we were born with and we just keep for forever. So sometimes when we're talking to parents of defiant or strong-willed kids, they will say, this baby was even like bossy and wild in the womb. Or they will say they were the hardest baby to train and to get onto any sort of sleep schedule. Or maybe it's personality trait that you've seen develop over time. My oldest, that was a lot simpler and easier to parent when he was little, as he became a tween, and his personality is one of independence and strength, that has turned into manifesting itself through defiance. So you may see it all throughout their life or just seasons of it. We just have some kids that are born with willful personalities. The next is biology. So believe it or not, some defiance can be caused by issues like not getting enough sleep, struggling with like their blood sugar being regulated, even food allergies, pain, or fears can be affecting how they feel. And when a child feels poorly, they behave poorly. Just think about yourself when you're sleep deprived and what you're like. Or do you suffer from hunger? That's a real condition at my house, that when I am hungry, I am not nice. When I'm hungry, when I'm tired, I am less able to interact well with other people, to be more regulated, have impulse control, all of those different things. So some kids, they have found food allergies and they've been able to resolve that and seen a decrease in defiance. Others, they were seeing a poor sleep quality and got some support with sleep and saw an improvement in behavior as well. So just another factor to consider. Another factor to consider is development. Unfortunately, there are stages of development where it's very typical for a child to be more defiant. 3 and leading up to 13, that's when we can really start to see that willfulness start to break out. And so, regardless of whether or not you're dealing with a seasonal willful period, we want to support you through that. If you're dealing with defiance at all, then you're in the right place and let's help you out. The next is environment. So if negative behaviors get kids what they want, it actually tells the child's brain to repeat that behavior again. So while all of these other factors are super important, environment is incredibly important. And this is really the only factor that we have a lot of control over. And so what we're going to teach you in this program is how to set up the environment so that it helps shape the behavior of the defiant child very best. Now, in the next video, we're going to dive into specific things that trigger defiance in our kids' brains. So in this, we're seeing why they may be wired to be defiant. And then in the next video, we're going to talk about what triggers that defiance.